Let's go straight to our top stories this morning. And our first story definitely is on Somalia, most definitely. We're looking at the all-important elections that have been cancelled. And we'll start off with this. Somalia has again pushed back the deadline for completing lower house elections until March 31, a process that is already more than a year overdue and has resulted in political sanctions. The announcement by the Electoral Committee has now further delayed the vote for a new president and prolonged a political crisis in a country also facing drought and an Islamist insurgency.
After countless delays and missed deadlines, the lower house elections were due to be completed on Tuesday, March 15th, 2022. We have joining us this morning on Breakfast Central, Mohammed Hassan. He's a member of the Somalia Election Commission. Many thanks for joining the program, Hassan. Now, looking at the situation of things in Somalia, Somalia has not held a one-person, one-vote election in 50 years. And this election was touted to be the one that would break that jinx. Can you bring us up to speed as to what really caused the delay?
Thank you very much. The Somalia election has a long history, and there were so many challenges. Almost the last 1 year and a half since the federal member state and federal government has reached the agreement on 17 September 2020. That agreement was describing how and the modality of the election. They have agreed indirect election. Since today, there is 6 times which has been passed the deadline of the election. So far, 235 MPs has been elected. Still 40-something MPs so far not elected yet. So there's so many challenges surrounding the situation of Somalia election. One is a political challenge. There is so many disagreements of political stakeholders and FMS leaders and also federal government. And all challenges is coming to this side. And it was supposed to conduct a one-man, one-vote election, but that process has been failed in 2020, and new morality has been implemented. So the election modality is 2 parties, technical party, which is an election commission is going to implement it, and it has been implementing last 1 year and a half, and the political sector. So the main challenge is a political sector.
All right, let's look at this. The U.S. government has sanctioned Somalia for the further delay in the polls, taking a look at the fact that some of the officials will no longer be able to travel outside of Somalia and move into the United States. But what does this mean going forward, especially for the government and also the people of Somalia?
Well, that's a really a good step, because Somalia has been in civil war last 30 years and is supporting support coming from international community at the basic activity of rebuilding Somali nation. So whensoever disagreement happened among the Somali politicians, international community are the one who are pressuring and supporting, sometimes giving a technical support to agree and reform their nation. So this new pressure and coming from US, especially banning and visa and other sanctions, is helping Somali rebuilding nation, because there's so many factories and politicians who are not willing to conduct the election and who are willing to block Somali democracy. So unless we have not get or unless the Somali people has not get the international pressure, politicians might not achieve what has been agreed in the past. So that's the Somali people and see a good step to put a pressure the politicians who agreed to conduct the indirect election.
All right. Now, Mohammed, you've come out to also let us understand that 40 out of the 275 seats in the lower house has remained unoccupied in 3 states. You've also come out to let us know that technical aid is under threat right now as we speak in Somalia. Now, even the International Monetary Fund has come out to say the financial aid in the country will be automatically put to an end by May if the country is not put in place. Now, is there any likelihood in any way that the election will not be delayed again? Because now we have a new date, which is March 31st. Is there any chance that the election will hold on that date, or we might just be prepared for another postponement?
And really, last 1 year and a half, the issue is still, especially
Quite sad. We seem to have some connectivity issues there with our guest who is joining us all the way from Somalia as we look at this very, very topical issue that's got to do with the elections being postponed out there in Somalia for another time, even though many were looking forward to get the reasons. But I like the fact that our guest, Mohammed Hassan, who is a member of Somalia Election Commission, who is at the forefront as well, working hard to ensure that this election takes place, has opened up to us that the major cause of this is because of not being able to fill out the numbers as well. Over 40 seats
out of the 275. And we need to understand that the lower house election is very important because the lawmakers in the lower house with some delegates are the ones that would sit together and elect the president. So unless that lower house is properly put in place, unless they have the numbers properly arranged with the delegates, then election is not likely to hold for that of the presidency. Let's also understand that the sanctions, just as you've said, the U.S. sanctions restricting that of the key political holders in the country of Somalia, they've been restricted from leaving the country to go to places like the United States.
All right, let's see. We still have Mohammed Hassan. If you're still there and you can hear us, we hope that you are there, by the way. Let's take a look at the election still. Now, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's good, that's smooth. All right, so the question simply is for me and, of course, for Luchi by extension. We're looking at the fact that Mohamed Farmajo, who tried to retain and stay in power from 2019, which led, of course, to the uproar, and a lot of Somalians are saying, we do not want you anymore. But looking at the fact that ever since he's decided to leave office, there hasn't been anyone who has sat on that seat, of course, to govern the affairs of the country. But how is this going to affect the insurgency which Somalia is currently battling with? There's an insurgency on one hand, there's drought on the other hand. What do you think you need to do to hasten things up?
That's a good question. Any delay and any progress, when there is no progress for the political sector, especially the election, and whenever the election is getting delayed, it is helping insurgents and other terror groups who are operating freely in many parts of rural area of the country. And also it is giving some demoralizing the Somali people who are recovering good.
Wow, it's quite unfortunate. I mean, we're having a little technical glitch from Mohammed Hassan. Now, he is a member of the Somalia Election Commission, but we wish we had more time and wish his own technology was a little bit better so we could hear what he was saying, especially in terms of the way forward in Somalia. Pretty crucial and important at this point in time, Joe, looking at the fact that if the election doesn't hold, it means no one can elect the president. If the president can't be elected, then the economic situation of Somalia will be in jeopardy, if not already jeopardized as we speak.
All right. Well, also the big question there is, for me, is that question which you asked, Mohammed. What if it is moved once again?
Once again.
That's a big worry for Somalians. But they're also looking for a way forward. They're hoping that everything could come to an end, so they could focus on the insurgency and ensure that they can deal with the terror that's coming from the Al-Shabaab.